Welcome to the Homeschool Together podcast. Where one working mom and a stay-at-home dad help you navigate the nuts and bolts of the growing and dynamic world of homeschooling.
With a focus on early learners, like me.
All the ins and outs of building and maintaining your homeschool life.
Homeschool.
Find out tips and tricks to make things like this easier.
I'm reading.
And ultimately, enjoy educating your kids. And what's that last thing?
Have fun together. Did I do good, Daddy?
Yeah, you did, sweetie. Good job. Hello and welcome to Homeschool Together. And we still don't have hoverboards yet, and I'm a little upset.
I know, it's 2022. So futuristic.
So futuristic. Now, we had 3 Christmases. I didn't gain any weight. And I got,
speak for oneself.
And I got, well, I said I did. I got the sled. I think that's mission complete.
I mean, yeah, I think we had a good holiday.
And our children still respond to us.
Mostly.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for your support last year and the year before. And we're going to start off this year really fun and have a great time. Before we begin, if you have any, still in the giving spirit,
yeah,
and you'd like to share how wonderful I am.
Share your time and your talents.
And Ariel and this podcast, you can go out to iTunes and leave us a nice review. But even more importantly, if you have a friend who's homeschooling, or if you know somebody who's homeschooling that has yourself, and you'd like to get interviewed on one of our homeschool journeys, feel free to reach out to us on our social media.
Yeah, we are booking interviews out for 2022, and so we're looking for families to talk with, and experts to speak with. So if you really want us to interview a certain content creator,
if your cousin is Julie Bogart, just give us an in.
No. Or if you really want us to interview a specific type of person about a specific issue, we're filling up our interview calendar. So we definitely want to hear from you, what kind of interviews you want to see. And, we love to talk with homeschooling families about their journeys. I think that's one of the really rewarding parts of this podcast for us. We try to give you a lot of information, but also we get to meet all these great families. So don't think that your family or story isn't unique enough. There's something unique about every homeschooling family. We love to meet you, and this is a way that we help to build community with this podcast. So please reach out to us. It's not scary. It's very easy. Simple process and low pressure, we promise. So please reach out.
10 out of 10 reviews, from all of our interviews.
Would interview again, I think.
Yeah, would interview you again. Yeah, so
reach out to us. Please choose an email at homeschooltogetherpodcast@gmail.com or contact us on social media, and we'll start the discussion.
Absolutely. Now we're in our office. We normally record. If you've seen our YouTube videos on the YouTube channel, head over and subscribe there. It's a little broken up because we're doing some cool stuff.
Yeah, we're trying to get like a YouTube studio-ish thing.
Get out of here, YouTube studio.
Yeah, we're trying through the supply chain. We are trying to get all the parts to do this really cool built-in desk on one side of the wall, and the other side where our books normally are. We're gonna try to do a little studio set up there so that maybe in the future these podcasts will also be videoed, and you can see us talking, and you can see me doing all my hand gestures. I like.
And you'll see me reading off my phone for all the show notes as I guide us through our discussions. That'll be great. You'll see the magic behind the thing. Now it's a new year. This is the first Happy New Year to everybody. Hope you enjoyed the turning of the magical clocks.
Please, Lord, let 2022 be better than 2021.
There's a lot of 2s in this one. Maybe it'll be a good number for us. But a lot of people are making New Year's resolutions. They're looking forward to the coming year. I know I have 60 books upstairs on my shelf that I'm eagerly awaiting to read.
Do.
And I know a lot of you out there are planning out your homeschooling. Maybe you're kind of getting revamped. Maybe you start your homeschooling year at the beginning of the year, or maybe you're just coming off of the holidays and you just want to revitalize. we wanted to sit down and talk about what we are going to be doing for the coming year and just kind of like summarize what our plans are.
Yeah, I feel like even if you don't start at this time of year, this is like a reset time.
Yeah.
You know, you've come off with the holidays.
I mean, we're waist deep in a couple curriculums. So, I mean.
Right. And I think a lot of folks are, but even myself, even though we're not, starting anything fresh right here, January, 1st of January here, it's still, it's a time of reset and refocus, I guess is probably the right word. So yeah, we wanted to share with you what we're thinking this year and how we're going to proceed forward.
So let's start with the curriculums. What are we doing? What are we staying with and what are we adding towards the, as the year progresses? Because we kind of look at, I mean, I know we were talking about this earlier. We're looking at kind of the year in kind of 3 chunks. We have this January to like the end of the school year.
It's trimesters, man.
Yeah, trimesters, and then we have kind of the summer block that we're kind of excited about. And then we have the new, start of the quote unquote school year in the fall. So it's kind of 3 pieces and we'll kind of walk through what we're planning on doing. So we have been doing the Torchlight Build Your Library K combo with our 6-year-old.
Right. We've been doing that around the world combo.
Follow us on YouTube for our every 2 weeks videos there.
Yeah. So we're still doing that. What we have realized is that, doing a full like 2 weeks per country has been a little bit much for us.
It has.
And I guess we're just excited to get on to more things. Our daughter's super interested in history. So kind of we're going to compress a little bit. We're still going to do the combo, but I think that we had like, some countries were 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks. We're going to, condense down to 1 and 2 weeks, depending on what country, and still include the resources from both. But we find that our daughter loves to read so much or for us to read to her, that we're moving through it a bit quicker. Mm-hmm. So we're going to compress that a little bit because when we finish with the Torchlight and Build Your Library combo for around the world, we're going to get started into prehistory. We had the goal for this next school year to start Build Your Library 1, which is the ancient world. And we are not going to combo it with Torchlight. I may include a couple of the books from Torchlight. And in fact, I will include some of the books because there are some really great resources, but we're not going to do like a full combination because it is a lot of work to do that. And I think Build Your Library's got a really strong offering. So we're going to do Build Your Library, but it starts with ancient civilizations. And so I think it's really a miss if we don't start with prehistory.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're going to start with prehistory and talk about the origins of the universe and do a big section on dinosaurs and then into the early humans, cavemen, and all that stuff leading up so that it'll really go well into our ancient civilization. So for this, I just said I didn't want to combo, but I am going to combo prehistory a little bit because we have a Build Your Library prehistory unit study that covers. It mostly focuses on the rise of humanity, and that cave peoples and things. And then Blossom and Root has a prehistory that gives a lot more focus on creation of the universe and dinosaurs. And so I feel like the two are very complementary. And I saw another family was doing a combo of those. So that is what
one kind of naturally leads into the next. Yeah.
Yeah, they almost do. There's a little bit of overlap, but for the most part, it's pretty good. The Blossom and Root is a 3rd grade. It's 3rd grade science for that. So there's a few things that we're going to have to make a little easier for our, rising 1st grader at that point. So this summer we'll be moving into this prehistory combo. And then when we finish that, starting into Build Your Library 1 with ancient civilizations. And that we'll be getting into that before the end of the year.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm actually listening to a podcast now called Tides of History. And if anybody's listening, it's a really cool corollary to what we're doing here with kind of that prehistory up into kind of Bronze Age, early civilizations type of thing. And he spent the last, year or so kind of going through exactly that time period. So you're right. It does kind of fit together. Like, why would you leave off, early humanoid, variations in Africa all the way up through early civilizations? It just leads right into the next. It's so interesting.
It's a great opportunity for us to do, for our science component.
Yeah.
I guess this dovetails well into how we're going to do science. So right now we are doing space science with Blossom and Root K, and we're gonna be completing that at the same time, roughly, when we complete our around the world study, which is really good because prehistory is so much science. There's creation of the universe. There's a lot of evolution, and and then you get into dinosaurs, and so you get into habitats and lots of geology stuff,
Yeah,
and
time spans too. I think that's something that we've tried
Right.
to articulate to our 6-year-old is how old this stuff is, and how
Right.
her concept of a year is from 5 years old to 6 years old
Exactly.
is such a long time for her, and to think about this is in this time scale of tens or 20s of millions of years and these little epics. So that's going to be a lot of fun to do. So just to step back, we're starting in the beginning of the year, continuing what we've been doing for basically the last 6 or 7 months. We have now added onto the Blossom and Root science, unit study that goes about 30 weeks or so.
No. So Blossom and Root, I think, is like 10 or 11, and then Build Your Library is
No,
6.
but the space one
the
we've been
space.
doing with Zula,
Yeah, you're right. Space is, I think, 35 weeks.
Yeah, so basically we just started that just before our break that we kind of took here in the last few weeks. And then that's going to carry all the way forward until the end of summer. And just to know, we do homeschool through the summer. We do kind of dial it down just a tad during the summer, but we don't really stop very much.
Yeah.
And so that will end pretty much at the end of summer. And then we do this, stacked unit study, early civilizations, early human universe, Blossom and Root with the Build Your Library combo.
Right.
And then we will start into, in essence, Blossom and Root. Build Your Library 1.
Right, and Build Your Library 1 does come with a science component. At this point, I haven't decided yet whether we're going to do that or not, or whether we might do... Torchlight 1 recommends doing human anatomy, and there's some pretty cool books for that. Yeah. And so I might do human anatomy, and I haven't quite made my science decision for what we're going to do when we start into ancient civilizations, but we're pretty excited to get there. Our daughter loves history. She loves like ancient Egypt and Rome and Greece and ancient China and stuff. So I think that the ancient civilizations is going to be a big hit in our house.
Well, I think it's been fun too, because with the Torchlight and Build Your Library K combo that we've been doing, when you merge the two and you don't prune a lot of the weeks, I think, what was the total? 100 weeks?
It was like 66 weeks.
66 weeks. So it's more than a calendar year. And so, we're about halfway through, and, we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, not in a negative sense that we haven't been enjoying it, but we're getting to that end, and we're starting to look forward to and be excited about what's coming after this.
Exactly.
Because it is anytime you spend a whole year doing something with your kid, it's a pretty large accomplishment. So I think it's
and we are right now, we're doing this around the world combo, and we're doing Blossom and Root K Science, which is all about space, which is really so far been really fabulous.
It's been very sweet. Our daughters liked it a lot. I think we did the first 2 weeks, and then we took our holiday break.
Right. So we've got quite a bit left to go on it. We are going to be, we have been doing the Blossom and Root K nature component, which has also been good, and we'll be continuing with that too. And
that's just like a light add-on that we add on here and there. And I do like once a week, once every other week.
That's the nice thing I think about Blossom and Root, is that you can purchase just modules. You don't have to purchase the entire curriculum. I was able to purchase just the science and nature as a bundle and use those pieces. And I think it's really good. I really like Blossom and Root Nature. And I think depending on the classes that we take at our parent partnership next fall, we might continue with, Blossom and Root 1 Nature, or even repeat parts of this one, because it's really good. And it's just an excuse to get us outside. We don't naturally think about getting outside, but it's good for us and for our kids. And so I like using it, and I think that we'll continue to.
Absolutely. So you said a little bit earlier, a few seconds ago, we talked about the parent partnership. We're going to have a more in-depth discussion about the parent partnership next week, where we kind of like deep dive into what our first 5 or 6 months have been like.
Now we have our own personal firsthand experience.
Exactly. But we'll talk a little bit about that now. Like, we are doing the parent partnership. We're going to continue that. Our daughter is in kind of a kindergarten-y class they call kindergarten.
Kindergarten-y class.
And then she's also taking woodworking, dance, a Lego class, and a robotics class.
Yeah, pretty cool for a kindergartner, I have to say. Like, I would have loved that.
Cool.
And she's got a little friend there, and it's nice too, because her friend has changed over, is doing clay sculpture and mad science and other things, and it's really cool to be able to add these classes. I think it's a good way to kind of round out things you're not doing at home.
Yeah.
So, and then our little one is doing preschool a couple of days a week. So
she's doing about 3 days a week at preschool,
like half days.
And so nothing is changing with respect to what we're doing there. That's just continuing the normal cycle.
All the physical stuff
staying. All the physical stuff is staying, and that will then end hopefully sometime in May. She'll be done with that, and then we'll start our summer. summer we are not planning to. We have been doing preschools in the past few years, and we're not
We're
going to
taking
do
a
that.
break this year.
We're not doing that this year, so we're actually going to be, off, which is, I think, we were talking about it the other night. We've been going for so long, and I'm actually looking forward to it. I think it's that kind of deep, is it decompressing? I think I'm actually looking forward to it.
In the past, we've kind of needed childcare, not from a work perspective, but we had a baby. And so we really wanted our older preschooler to be in care so that it would make it easier to take care of the baby.
But also,
and then we have a toddler.
It makes her, gives her something to do.
Well, right.
Something to
It's
learn,
also great. And it's also social. But we also had a baby that we had to work with. And then we had a toddler. And now, our daughter is 2.5. And we're really looking forward to her being 3 this summer and actually being able to do a lot of homeschool as a family and not having to try to get childcare for one of them so we can, give our attention to the other. So
let's talk a little bit about the 2.5-year-old. So she has made leaps and bounds, developmental changes in the last few months, kind of like easing out of the toddler climbing the walls thing to princess dress wearing Barbie addicted 2.5-year-old, and being able to sustain herself and interest in what did we do tonight. We actually sat down for the first time and had family game night.
Right.
Now we played.
It felt amazing.
It was not Twilight Imperium. It was My First Orchard by Haba. But
hey, know what? First Orchard's a great game.
It was. I saw the smile on your face, being able to see our future of playing games together. We had our 2.5-year-old
It's funny.
sitting.
I was joking with you earlier, I birthed my own game group. I'm waiting for them to mature, but I birthed them, and I love playing games and I just want someone to play with. And now my kids really can. And
she's starting to get the stamina, the patience and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's actually,
it was awesome.
The message out to you guys who have the younger ones, it does get better. And we are starting to see that happen and the enjoyment. So now we're starting to have to think about, oh man, this kid's going to be 3 by the summer and we need to start a curriculum. And which one are we going to use?
Yeah. Well, not just we need to start a curriculum,
just something fun that we can
found
do together,
that, having a curriculum, we're not naturally, I don't know what the word, I'm not in. I mean, you're fairly creative, but I'm really not very creative.
I'm like the Leonardo da Vinci of homeschooling.
Yeah, we're just. I don't even know how to respond to that, y'all.
You just agree.
Yeah,
that's what everybody's listening. They're nodding along. They're
yeah,
this guy's a genius. Literally.
So what I find about having a curriculum is not that you have to be so rigid and oh my gosh, my daughter is almost 3. I have to have a curriculum, but just that I'm not really very inventive as far as ideas. And I love to see the curriculum say, hey, read this book, do this cool art project.
Exactly.
Hey, do this nature thing. And I'm like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. That could be fun.
Well, the other thing too is within the last maybe since the beginning of the parent partnership in September, we have noticed that she, obviously her verbal skills are high, right? She full conversation, paragraphs,
she's
discussion.
Really growing a lot.
She's very, very apt in the verbal. So she's kind of getting ready to maybe start to understand numbers and citing letters and stuff. So we're just seeing that developmentally, she's kind of ready for that. And also she loves art and she's starting to do activities, starting to sit down and let us read books, long books to her. We feel like she's ready. And not to say that we have to do a curriculum, but I just see that she is ready for something.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to have something, and if you use it or don't, it's just nice to have it.
Exactly. And as a guide, and there's a lot of people out there who are eclectic homeschoolers, and that's great, and that's awesome. You guys are awesome, but having that kind of guidepost to start.
I would say we're eclectic homeschoolers. We're using all kinds of different things, and
the thing that I'm starting to realize is, I spent the last 3.5 years kind of learning what my first kids' learning styles are like. And I'm realizing I'm staring at another little kid and she's a little different.
Yeah. And she's going to be her own learner.
Yeah. And I feel like I'm going to have to learn what she likes and learn, what is the process that she's into and everything, and try to adapt things like that. So I just feel like doing something with her and also giving her that attention, because she sees me doing it with her sister. And I think she's ready to start to have daddy's attention and starting to do homeschooling with her. And I think just that's kind of our thinking. It's not that we think everybody out there with their 3-year-old should be doing curriculums or anything like that. It's just that we think that she's ready for it, and we're going to start doing that this summer. I think
Yeah, well, actually, we're going to start. We're going to
Maybe a
start a
little
little
bit
bit earlier. So we have playing preschool right now, which is for ages 2 to 3. So we're
and
actually
we've actually done the first week of that before we kind of crashed and burned and realized she might have been a little early for
yeah,
it.
she was a little bit young for it. But now that we're ready, we're going to start that here in January. And when we finish playing preschool, then we're going to move her into Blossom and Root Early Years Volume 1.
Volume 1,
And-
hopefully by the end of the year.
Yeah, we'll be moving into that probably. I'd say maybe
Fall
by the
timeframe,
school year.
Yeah.
Start in the fall. So that'll be really great for our little one. So we're excited to try playing preschool. This is a new curriculum for us. We don't have much experience with it. Like you said, we did 1 week and it was a little bit too
It
early.
was recommended by one of our interviews.
Yeah, and I've heard lots of good things about playing preschool. So, stay tuned. Once we get through it a bit, we can give a better review on it. But so far, it looks really good. It looks really fun for this age group. And I don't know, some folks can channel their inner preschool teacher, but I'm not really one of them. I kind of need some ideas, and there's a lot of really cute ideas in that curriculum. So we're excited about that. So so that's the plan for the little one.
And let's talk a little bit like maybe this summer what we're thinking about.
Well, let's talk core subjects.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Let's step back, roll back. Let's do core
Yeah,
subjects. So let's talk about math first. So we finished all Right Start Math right at the end of the year.
For our older learner,
Yeah,
our
for
6-year-old.
our 6-year-old, we did the Right Start Math A. We finished, I think, somewhere in like early November.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I did the mathematical reasoning book that we did a review. It's on our YouTube channel. And I did that as sort of like a review, kind of gearing down after doing that. And we worked through that workbook. It was about 260 pages in about a month and a half.
She loved it.
She loved it.
It was great. It was a great review.
Yeah, it was great. And I kind of incorporated it into our morning basket. And it was just kind of a nice thing that she could do 3 or 4 or 5 pages a day.
Mm-hmm.
And she just ripped through it. And to be honest, she was probably above that level, obviously. She was above that level for that book, but it was very enjoyable for her. And I think it helped reinforce a lot of concepts. So
Yeah, I agree.
I don't regret doing that. And then right at the end, maybe the last 3 or 4 weeks before we took our break, we started doing the Math Mammoth Level 1. So this would be the
which
first
Math
grade.
Mammoth is a first grade, starts at first grade.
Yeah, so I did a little bit of a daddy unit study on addition. So I was doing carrying the 1, borrowing 10, doing some basic addition, vertical aligned addition, just kind of the algorithmic method of doing.
Because that was
addition
outside of Right Start, right?
Exactly, it was just about outside that, but she was interested in that during Right Start, and I was adding that in towards the end. And I just wanted to spend maybe 2 or 3 weeks and just spend some time doing more dynamic addition and subtraction, and then step back, and then we jumped into the Math Mammoth Level 1.
Right. Math Mammoth has so far seemed to be a really good choice to follow Right Start. Right Start gives a lot of great foundational principles about the whatever math topics to teach for that year. And then with Math Mammoth, it's tons of problems. And as engineers, right, as engineers, we've done our fair share of math problems, math practice, and you really getting lots of time with problems and lots of practice is really, we believe, is a big part of being successful. So I like that Math Mammoth has so many problems in it.
Something that we kind of evolved into during the start of the school year when she started the parent partnership is a lot more workbook work. I didn't think she would be a workbook type of kid, but she
really likes it.
She really likes it, and she likes doing pages, and it's easy to move through. And we've done a few reviews, and I think a couple short bites on some of the books that we've been doing in our morning basket. So head back into the archive the last few maybe months, and you'd see those there, and you can check a few out on YouTube. But this has been a kind of a nice development here, and we're just kind of running with that. Now, I think she will be done with the Math Mammoth Level 1 here, maybe in the next couple months, maybe say March timeframe. And I think we're going to start Right Start Math B probably here in the next couple weeks, starting in January. So we'll be tracking the 2 math programs kind of together. It's something that she can do. A couple pages here and there is not a lot of work for her. And I feel that, we're already about maybe halfway through the first book. And I think we can, rip through that. I think there's some overlap with the Math Mammoth, with the Right Start Math. So again, I think some of it is review level. That's stuff that she has seen or concepts that she has seen in a new flavor with respect to, say, just doing problems in a workbook. Like being able to do addition on an abacus and then doing, a bunch of math problems while you are doing essentially the same thing. It's presented in 2 different ways, But skill wise, I'm seeing the benefit of the Right Start Math, that she's able to say, oh, okay, this is the same thing as this over here. I can do this here. And I'm just seeing that as like an advantage. And so we're going to keep doing that as sort of like a daily warm up or kind of a morning baskety type of thing. And then we'll do our math lessons in the afternoon.
Yeah, it seemed to work really well so far. And our daughter seems to have a good math aptitude.
Yeah.
But this combination of Right Start and Math Mammoth really seems to kind of get all the angles.
Yeah. And I think we'll somewhat try to continue that. I think we'll keep the workbooks flowing, once we finish the first grade one. If it is applicable, we'll start the second grade one and see how she moves forward with that. I've been happy with that kind of two-headed curriculum work.
Yeah. Well, it's nice for her to be able to get practice. Right Start is, while, we're big proponents of Right Start,
we really like
it does take a lot of hands-on time for you to, be sitting with her really active. And it's nice because with Math Mammoth, you can give something to her, give her a little bit of instruction, and then there's a lot of it where she's working independently. So it's nice to have that mix of independent and parent intensive both.
Yeah. And I think that's something that's going to continue to happen, as she gets older and more, independent and more, self-startery, where she's able to do those type of things. And it's exciting to see that. I was telling my friend the other day that as she has grown into being a 6-year-old and, end of the year, she'll be 7, it has become more and more enjoyable experience educating her, in the sense that she's more mature. She understands the expectations that she needs to do. She gets her work done. We do the homeschool. We enjoy it together now. It's a lot of fun. I rarely have any fighting with her anymore that we used to have in the past. And a lot of the fighting in the past was probably more me. I think I've become a better educator, and I understand her more, that it's become a very enjoyable experience. And so,
well, I think we had
and she's very spongy right now. It's like you could just toss anything at her and she just enjoys it. Yeah.
We had some real stumbling blocks with reading and resistance to wanting to do reading. And I think that the way that we've tackled the reading curriculums and the way that you've changed the way you teach it has really stopped a lot of those fights. So maybe we can talk a little bit about that. We did All About Reading Level 1. We finished that late fall of 2021.
Right around when we finished Right Start Math, maybe in the November timeframe, early November.
Right. And then we picked up Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons, which we had tried with her at the very, very beginning when she was like 4. And it's a very dry
like the desert.
It's a very dry curriculum. But some people really swear by it. And what we've found is that our daughter has really excelled using that after All About Reading level 1.
Level 1, yeah.
So we're about halfway through.
Yeah, about 60 lessons in. So we only go about,
she's like, really excelling.
Basically
and
doing one of these a day, yeah.
Not feeling like reading is such a struggle anymore. She's not like dreading working on reading.
Yeah, we almost in the same respect as doing the mathematical reasoning and the Math Mammoth is sort of additional review, catch up, more education on things that we've done in the past. Doing the 100 lessons after that first complete curriculum of All About Reading, again, it's been feeling like it's more review of things she knows. So she has more confidence, she has more practice. She's going into it knowing that she can do this, and there's a lot of confidence building that I've noticed with this. Also, we spent that time during that time period where we were doing the 100 lessons, is we were continuously reviewing a lot of the flashcards that comes with All About Reading, as well as going back to the blue books that are part of that curriculum, the blue books and the All About Reading, the readers, and asking her to then go ahead and read those to herself privately on the couch, go through the story, and then I would quiz her on what the story was about. But again, giving her more time to gain more confidence, I think that's been the big change. And that's been very successful for us.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to use the 100 Lessons book, because it may just click with some kids, but it definitely didn't with ours, who's very visual. And I think she needed the readers and the approach that All About Reading used with the tiles and stuff.
Yes, I think the tiles for All About Reading, it's been great.
Right, but this has been really nice. So we're planning for 2022 to finish the 100 Lessons book. And when we complete that, then we will move into All About Reading level 2 and All About Spelling level 1, which they're at the same level. You start spelling when you start level 2. So we're pretty excited about that for her, and I think she's doing really well with the reading. So that'll be our plan. We will not finish All About Reading level 2 in 2022. It'll be sometime in 2023 probably when we'll finish that.
Yeah, depends. A lot of the struggle that I had with the level 1 was maybe we were starting the reading a little bit faster. I have a feeling we'll be going a little faster this time.
We'll have to see.
That's my hope.
Yeah, we're still running a little bit ahead of clip, so of grade level. So I think we're doing okay. It's hard because our daughter has such a late birthday. She is an older student for a kindergartner, so it's good for us to be running a little bit ahead of where her grade level says she is, because she's a little bit older and in some ways needs a little bit more challenge. So, so that's been really good. So let's see. We talked about our main curriculum, and that includes history. We talked about science, math, ELA, and nature.
Got the preschooler.
And we talked about our preschooler. I guess the only other things, we are going to continue with the Evan Moore series of skill sharpener books for our morning basket. We have like a STEM one right now, and she's currently working through grade 1 of geography. So we will continue to use those, because those have been just a really great resource if you're looking for a quick workbook.
Yeah, but that's been part of that revolution that we've seen here with her aptitude towards workbooks, and that's really been driven a lot by the work that she's been doing in her morning basket, and kind of that half hour, 40-minute warm up that she gets in the beginning of the day. I think about half the week she gets that. So it's been really good, and I've been enjoying it. And also, I like the workbooks like the geography and the STEM, because it pulls in those other disciplines. Otherwise, I would get locked in a lot of math and reading stuff, or just the curriculum and reading a bunch of books.
Yeah.
I like them as kind of triggers to do something different.
Yeah, they're really great. So she's really enjoyed it. She did ask me yesterday if we could do a unit study about Harry Potter this summer.
Oh,
so
get thee some Harry Potter.
We might. I don't know if we. I don't think she'll be ready yet for the Build Your Library Harry Potter unit study, although I may pick up the Sorcerer's Stone unit study and just take a look at it and see if we could do pieces of it. We also did get Waldach's Wizards and Wands. I might check that out too. So I don't know if we might do a Sorcerer's Stone thing. We're in the middle of Azkaban right now, so I don't know if we'll go back and do that this summer. But she really,
I don't know if you could tolerate reading that book again.
Oh, I mean, I have a pretty deep love of Harry Potter, so I think I could handle it.
You've read Sorcerer's Stone or
I have read
Philosopher's
Sorcerer's
Stone
so many times to her because that was the only one she was really ready for. So we've read it a lot, but so I think we may do something like that. I have a Harry Potter cookbook that's got a bunch of recipes from the books in it, so I think that we might cook our way through.
We have
Harry
at least
Potter.
half a dozen Lego sets, so yeah, we're ready.
Yeah, I think we've been preparing for this all our lives. So we may do some other things like that in the summer, and depending on what our little one's into too, we might do some other things. It's kind of, summer's interesting because while we're not going as intensively, we don't have our parent partnership. We still continue with our math and reading, and we actually get, in some cases, more work done in the summer on our other fun, like our all around the world study and things. We get a lot more done because we have more time, where we're not at the parent partnership and we don't have preschool. And
I think we'll talk about a little bit more of that next week when we talk about the parent partnership, on how we're seeing how scheduling and availability kind of impacts how you're going to educate. And I've noticed a lot of hours have been sucked up because of the way things are scheduled. And so maybe we'll talk about next week about maybe just if you are out there and you're thinking about using a parent partnership, or you're thinking about
co-op or co-op
of some sort, really think about how your day is going to be structured in your week. We did it for one reason, and maybe we'll talk about that next week. And then we're starting to think about, we're going to change it up just a tad.
Yeah, as everything matures. But I think, in the summer you lose those. Those are our kind of our extracurriculars right now that our daughter's getting. That she's getting her woodworking and robots and Lego Masters and the other classes that she's getting. And, in the summer, we're going to be having fun, hanging out in Grandma and Grandpa's pool and doing all that kind of stuff. But also, it's an opportunity for us to, add in some other extracurriculars. Our daughter's very, very interested in sewing, and there's no class at the parent partnership for sewing until 3rd grade, I think. And so I just finished organizing my sewing things a couple days ago, and I might start to work with her a little bit because she's really excited about it. And I don't want to lose that excitement just because the parent partnership doesn't teach a class for several years.
Exactly. Well, and if anybody out there has any recommendation on sewing, if you have a YouTube channel for young learners or something like that, send that along our way. And we'd love to take a look at that because we do have kind of a kindergartner who wants to start making her own clothes.
Yeah, she's very excited about sewing. And so that's something that we're into. I also really want to think about music. We do have a keyboard, and maybe try to get her into some piano or something over the summer with some sort of a kid's piano book. And so
I'll get her to the DJ kits. She can be
no.
My dream of, I'll never be the DJ, but maybe she could be DJ Dolphin.
No.
Where are my people at?
No.
You love it. You love me.
I do, but
you can't get away from me.
Apparently not.
She's blinking help.
So there's some fun things we might explore this summer. Yeah. But in general, this is our plan for 2022, and we just kind of wanted to talk with you all and share what we're thinking and planning to do. And we would love to hear from all of you about your 2022 plans.
Absolutely.
And what you're planning to change up. So we talked all about curriculum. But we had this conversation yesterday too about our philosophy going into this next year. Yep. And there's a few things that we want to try to be, try out maybe a little differently this year. Mm-hmm. One of those is that we think our daughter is old enough and will respond well to the opportunity to craft her day and her time a little bit better, as far as, these are the things we want to get done this week or today, and you can decide how and when we will do those.
Oh my gosh.
Giving her a little bit more autonomy.
I hear my Kanban board's coming.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I hear it.
I think she's really the kind of kid who, if you tell her, hey, we really need to get these things done, she'll take the hardest thing first and she'll get it done. And sometimes we try to soften the blow, like, oh, well, let's do, it's a harder math lesson today, so we'll do some art and things easier, and then we'll get to math. By the time we get there, it's not the optimal time. If we would have just told her up front, hey, we've got a little bit of a difficult math lesson, and we have art, and we have some of the things, what do you want to do? 9 times out of 10, I think she would say, let's just get that math lesson done, Dad.
Exactly.
And we would do it, and then you would have the rest of the day to do fun things with her. I think she's the kind of kid who would rather, get the things out of the way that she perceives as difficult. Mm-hmm. So we're thinking about giving her a little bit more autonomy and not trying to, plan so much for her.
Well, and I think, with a lot of respect, with a lot of that, I think we might actually be able to get more done
I think
in a
you
shorter
definitely
period
will.
of time. And it'll give her a lot more time, free time. And it will also free up time for me to work with the 2.5-year-old, but also understanding that coming forward, it's going to be going from educating one kid to educating 2 kids. And I have to make that transition. And in that transition, there are a lot of changes with respect to our daily flow, with expectations, giving her more autonomy, giving her more ability to control her schedule, do the things she wants to do when she needs to do them. I think is going to become something that I'm going to have to learn to kind of adapt to, and that she's also going to have to learn to adapt to, because especially when you got now 2 kids in the classroom, it's going to become more challenging. There's going to be sharing time issues, because in a lot of the times we're doing our homeschooling now is during the baby's nap, doing those hard subjects like math and reading. I'm going to have to pull that out because, who knows if the, knock on wood, that the 2.5-year-old will stay in the bed napping until 4.5 like the older one did. But
I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it. But, we have a lot of changes coming, and I think this kind of philosophical change of letting her kind of start to control her schedule, give her that autonomy that we're going to have to leverage when I'm going to have to share time and share duties.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So a few things that we're going to be considering changing, how you work with 2 and giving her more autonomy. Those are just a couple of things we've been thinking about. And, we want to try our best to, now that we have an older child as well, to get out more, to, do some field trips where they're allowed. And
well, especially if, crossing our fingers, things start to improve globally,
right.
We will have more access to, the museums and things of that nature that won't have the restrictions that we're seeing now. And hopefully that will change here in the coming year as things evolve for the better.
We also, now that we'll have our younger child will be older, we're going to be looking to, exercise that more and get out.
Absolutely.
She was a little difficult when she was younger and crazy.
Yes, tearing down all the shelves. Let's end this the way we always do.
Mm-hmm.
Something that we're into. Ariel, tell the people that we now own. We're going to own like 4 or 5 of these things and dole them out to all birthdays and all get together.
Yeah, we decided our go-to birthday gift is going to be.
Well, we should tell. We just started with what's our go-to gift for a new wedding.
Oh yeah. Okay. So hear us out. Our go-to wedding gift is always a picnic basket.
Because nobody ever buys that.
Nobody ever buys the couple a picnic basket. And if you really know the couple well, it's like a close friend or family, then we fill the picnic basket with goodies, with a bottle of wine and some snacks and things. It works perfect. They can take it with them either for their their honeymoon, or if they're going on like a wedding weekend night, that kind of stuff. It's really great. If we go have an adventurous couple, we get them a picnic basket backpack. And if we have a less adventurous couple, we just get them the regular, basket type. But we still have ours from our wedding. Everyone we've ever given a picnic basket, they still have it. They've used it. It's a unique gift that nobody ever gets. So that's
Ariel,
my plug.
What is our go-to gift now for 5, 6, and 7-year-olds?
Yeah, so my go-to gift now is the light up tracing pad. We have a Crayola one.
Yeah.
It's something we got our daughter for Christmas, and we knew she was going to like it because she likes to draw, and she's been interested in maybe like doing fashion stuff, so we thought, well, this is interesting. We'll give it a try. Man, it is cool. It is literally just a big light up board, but because it's so
well done too. Like the LEDs are coming from the side, but somehow it has like this grid honeycomb like pattern.
It's
that just
really well done.
Blows out the light.
It's
It's
nice
amazing.
and light. It is battery powered. The LEDs, so I'm sure the batteries are going to last a good amount of time.
Yeah.
It's nice, big. It takes a full 8.5 by 11 sheet. And what's great about it is you can just put a piece of regular paper on there with any kind of line drawing.
You could print from the internet, or
I printed some pictures earlier that our daughter wanted to draw from a cartoon. So I just printed some line drawings.
Tell
from
the people what cartoon.
It was from Clone Wars. Yeah,
Absolutely.
she wanted to do some Clone Wars. So, anyways, I got some Jedi and some clone troopers and things, and I printed those out. And then she was able to put those down on her light pad, and then put a regular piece of computer paper over it and draw. And then when she was finished tracing, then she's able to color. And so I love how versatile this gift is. Doesn't matter what that child is into, what their thing is. It's so easy to print anything, and I don't need to use special tracing paper, which I really love. You don't need to use that tissue paper, thin tracing paper.
No.
You just use regular old computer paper, works fine. And our daughter has been just like hooked to this since we got it.
And I've seen her doing 2 things. First of all, taking multiple pieces of paper and combining outfits from different pieces of paper. So she'll draw the head first, swap out the paper, kind of orient it so she can get the top, swap that out, put the pants on. And so she's actually starting to assemble in block form the drawings by doing the tracing. That's number 1. Number 2, I saw her using rulers to get straight lines and to get accenting lines to make sure that they were nice and straight. And it has enough room to put a ruler over the top and be able to get those lines nice and straight. So 2 little skills on top of the fact that she's tracing.
Tons of fine motor skills.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she's doing more intricate art with this than she's ever done by hand, because she's not worried about making mistakes. And I think that we're going to see her drawing is going to improve by leaps and bounds by her efforts to really trace. I mean, if you get books like maze books and things for your kids where they have to like stay in the lines, you're trying to teach those fine motor skills. I can't think of a better way to teach these than doing something like a tracing pad, because it's just so intricate.
But also, think about the skill that she's learning beyond just the drawing. We saw her the other day just sit for about 45 minutes and trace, right? She's learning patience. She's learning to have stamina. And I think that we're going to see that carry over into things like reading,
Absolutely.
into things like game playing, into other type of art activities, and even maybe, hopefully by the end of the year, some writing, where she will take her time and actually like work on it.
Well, what's great is you can do writing with this. You can have writing practice sheets and put them under, and then have them trace right over the top without having. We heard some people will do like lamination things. If you don't want to laminate, you don't like that idea, but you do want them to be able to write over, this is a great way to do this. I think you can get these for like $25. They're not very expensive. It's nice and lightweight. You can take it in the car or anywhere. We're super duper happy with the light tracing pad. I know there's several of them out there. We bought the Crayola one. We'll put a link in the show notes so you can see the one we got. But I think it's really great. And it's going to be our go-to gift for this age group because there's lots of possibilities with it. And our daughter has just taken to it so quickly. Thanks so much for joining us today and making us a part of your homeschool journey. Please engage with us on social media. Join our Homeschool Together podcast group on Facebook and find us at Homeschool Together Podcast on Instagram. We'd love to hear your feedback, questions, and recommendations. Until next time.
Happy homeschooling!